views and as well as HTML, but I couldn't get that. Only that is the issue. Other than that, I was able to do everything.
So you have written a list and you have sent it, right?
Yes. I have shared both the file, HTML as well as views.
You
Else I
given
can.
empty list, right? Empty list you have tried, set you have tried.
Yeah. I mean, I given 3 list, one set. One list is not working, which I gave the numbers. And I tried without giving the bracket or the spiral bracket, and it was not giving. I mean, it was not showing. And also I was trying to access the time, such a minute from the current time. That also I couldn't get it.
Okay, I'll check today. And this is the same code, right? Views and HTML you have sent me.
Yes.
Okay, I'll check it. So last topic was what yesterday?
It's include.
Did we start the extents or yet to start?
No.
No, you have to start the extent. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Rohit, one doubt. In include, we can retrieve only for the HTML files, or we can do the some CSS files or some like that too. Only HTML files?
Only HTML files. CSS also we can do. Anything we can do.
Okay.
But the thing is, CSS means you have to write it inside the head tag itself, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Style tags, what we write inside the head tag itself. If you
Okay.
want, you can directly write the CSS in the link. What is the advantage we have if you include this header means, if you take any website, the menu will be same. Like say home, about us, contact us, right?
Yes. Homepage.
Those things you can write it inside the HTML header,
Okay, directly
like
to the header.
home, register, login, like this. And after login also we have a home page for doctor or patient. Doctor homepage will be having the header same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those things you can write it inside a header file and you can just include them. The repeated things. If you see the header and footer will be same, just the body will be changing for every page, if you observe, right?
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what happens in future if I change this one file, it will get affected in all the files, right?
Yes.
Suppose usually I have 10 pages. In 10 pages I'm writing differently means if I have to change the header, I need to change it in the 10 pages, right?
Yeah.
So that's the advantage we have if you write it inside a separate file and include it. Okay?
Okay.
CSS anyhow we can write externally, right? Externally in the sense we write a file and that file we can link it.
Yes. External CSS. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the advantage. And all the concepts you have got, right? Christy and you?
Yes, yeah, Rohit. I got it.
Now we'll see the extend part. So what was the application name we had? The doctor application, right? Like say in G Drive, doctor application, user, templates, we have two things. Okay. Now I want to write the extended thing. One is index.html. One is header.html. So this index.html already has the include, right?
Mhm.
I'll just remove this. Okay. Now what I'm trying to write is I want to extend the header file inside the index.html. Okay. So in order to do that thing, first I'm writing a header.html. In what I'm writing, how to write this particular header.html. Welcome to doctor application, and whatever the home login is there, and we can use a tags known as colon, like flower bracket percentile block content. And we have flower bracket percentile end block. Okay. Suppose I have written this thing. Next, inside the index.html, what I'm trying to do, I'm using a particular part known as extends. Like after this few things, flower bracket percentile extends header.html, give the double quotes and the percentile. Okay. And what you want to write, what I'm trying to do, I'm keeping it as a block content. Percentile block content, and after this I just want to keep it as percentile end block. So this block content and end block is mandatory for this particular extents. Okay, let's first run this thing. How to run it? In G Drive we have manage.py. Open that thing. Py space manage.py space run server. Have I told you how to change the port number?
Yeah, after run server.
Yes, we have to just give a new port number, right?
Mm.
So you are all trying whatever you are seeing in the class, right?
Yeah, Rohit, yeah, I want to.
So what I'm getting here, welcome to doctor application, home login, register and contact us, right?
Mhm.
Suppose what I want to do now is extend. I'll extend, but I will not write any block content and end block. In the URLs, that's a login page, right? Just give me a doctor application urls.py. Right click. So what we have user.urls, right? In urls.py again. So what's the first thing we have? Views.home. And what's the second thing we have? Views.display. In views, I have what are the things? One is display, one is home. I have a list, but I'm not using it, right? I'm going to the index.html directly. That's the first part which is getting executed, right? And I was able to retrieve the content also, right? First is index.html. In the index.html, I said extends header.html. In the header, I'll just remove this thing. I'll restart the server, it's better. We are having the same thing here. Welcome to Doctor application, home, login, register. Is it displaying the welcome to home page?
No.
It's not displaying, right?
Yes.
No.
Only the part where we have this is getting displayed, right? And here in the header.html also, just have this block content and all.
What it does, block content in block.
Actually, it's displaying only the header. It's not displaying the first index content actually. Let's do one thing. I'll just simplify the things. I want H1. Welcome to the Django application. Okay. After this, I want the content what is there inside the particular header. I'll just remove all those things. I don't want the center and all those tags. And in this, I want to extend the particular things. What I want to extend directly the content what we have. So I'll just say extends. After that, I'll write block content. If I don't give the block content, it won't display this particular part. And here I can write a particular thing known as h2 tag. Welcome to Doctor Home. So I've just written this basic things. Okay. I'm getting the welcome to Django application, welcome to Doctor Home, right? Previously it didn't work because the content what you want to write inside this should be in the block content. If you write that inside the block content, then only it will work. And the header also, first you need to have the matter. After the matter, the block content. Block content and the end block in a sense, this will replace this particular thing. The block content and the end block. If you write in the header.html the block content and the end block, then only this content will be visible. If you're not writing them here, it won't visible. Only the extends header.html will be shown entirely. Okay.
Yep.
And extends is just simply different thing compared to include. Include means just it will include the file into the existing code. That's it. But extends is different. Extends in the sense it will just try to override the things. When I say extends header.html, it will just display the entire thing. And if you remove this block content, suppose I'm just not writing the block content, say this thing and run, it got removed, right? Because the block content was not there. So you have to specify which contains the block thing. So that's a block content. Then you will get the content. And in the header.html also, if I remove this block content end block, it is not getting displayed. Because here, if you keep these two blocks, extends comes with these two, block content and end block. Then only you can write them inside this. And if I write another tag here, h3, okay, I'll just say profile page, say this thing. I'm just running it again. The HTML changes will not be reloaded directly. We need to run again. So it's displaying the welcome to Doctor Home, that's it, but it's not covering the profile page, right? So usually if you want to write anything inside the extent, after the extent, you need to write inside the block content itself. You'll start the block and end the blocks. Then only the block will be visible. Outside that, it won't be visible. Okay. So it's not that suitable for the applications for every time. And mostly we use the include thing, which is the better part. Okay. So this is extends. Is this thing clear? Any doubts?
No.
So what's the benefit of using extend instead of include?
Benefit that means we can limit the content what we want to display within a block. That is not there in the include. If you
So
just click include, it will just bring that content here. That's it.
Okay.
I can go ahead and write any number of extents, or it's limits to only one.
It will override, right? Again. Suppose I've written header and I want to write the footer now. Okay. Footer.html. Website 2009 to 2020. This footer.html I want to include here in this part. So what I'll do, I'll just say extends footer.html, right?
Double quote.
Yeah, I forgot that. Save this thing. So extends must be the first tag in the thing, right? If you want to write an extends, it should be in the first tag, not in the last. That's the reason it's giving error. You can see this thing here, right? Template syntax error must be the first tag in the template. So what do you understand? If you want to write, you can write only one because only one thing will be there, right? In the first line. Or else suppose I'm writing it here after the header. Both are at the single line, right? Extents cannot appear more than once in the same template. Got it? So we cannot write multiple extents. We can have to just write only one thing. One extent is fine. And that too, whatever the block content you want to write, you need to write it inside a thing, block content, end block. That's the extents. Now coming to the next topic, I have URL. Like if I want to go to another particular page, I can go using this URL. You know ahrefs, right? I've shown you. So what does the ahrefs do? Anchor tag, redirect from one page to another page, right?
Yes.
And the same way here also in this Django, we have a particular thing known as URL. How to use it? In the home.html, I want to just have a header directly. I remove the block content, extends I'll remove. I want to go to the header page. Okay. So what I have, ahrefs equals to, instead of giving that directly, how to execute a Django URL. Okay. In the views also, I need to have, suppose I've written for the display part, right? Now what I'll have, def header. For any request to be forwarded, we need to write a view function. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll return to the render with a request known as header.html. The spelling is correct, right? Header.html. Yeah. And for this, we need to write the URL. So instead of what I'll just say, header. In the views.py, I have written the header, and the same thing I want to redirect. And if you say login page, you can say login. So from home page, it's going to the login page also, you can say. Okay. So I'll just remove this thing, content and all. And in the index.html, I'll just say URL. Flower bracket is there, percentile is there, URL is there. And in this URL, I'll just say header. What is this header which is there inside the urls.py? This thing I have to specify in this file. Then when I click on that, it will redirect to that part. Go to header. Usually we can do it for the registration and login. Once we have that registration, we can go with the login part, you can say. Header is not a valid view function or pattern. I'll take a name then here. Name equals to, I'll just say it as by which name you can call it. Next. So in the index.html, instead of header, I'll just give it as next. Welcome to Dr. Home profile page. Go to header. It's going to the header part. Right? So the thing is, in the URL, you have to specify the name instead of the particular this thing.
I can have name equal to header also, right? The same thing, no difference.
Header is there, and here also I'm writing it as header.
It should take.
By using the name, we can call the file actually. You can take header also, right?
So header, okay.
Yeah, header is the thing which links actually, and the same thing we have a name. When I give a name based on the in the URLs, when I give a name based on that, it will execute this particular part, right?
So this is executing header.html file, right?
Yes, it's going to the header.html. Suppose if I use header directly now, I'm getting the same page, right?
Okay. So basically
This
creating a page and then
yeah.
using URL, we can link that page from page 1 to page 2.
Yeah, you need to understand one thing, like this thing goes to the address bar. If you want to give this directly in the address bar, it will execute. And this thing goes to the URL. That's the reason I given different things. I've given next here and I've given next here. If you observe clearly now,
Okay.
I'll just reload on the server. Now I'll go here.
Go to header.
Welcome to Django application, right?
It's going to header file.
Yeah. Now I'll just say next. What's it saying?
Okay, got it.
Error.
Yeah.
And if I say header, it's coming, right?
Correct, yeah. So next
The
is just
thing-
like a middle name for header. We call it our name and
this views.header has a name known as next. So it will execute this header thing. And in the address bar, in the URL, we use this name, and in the address bar, we use this URL. Clear?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you want, you can have it the same thing. It's up to us, whatever you want to have. Okay? So that's the end of Django template language. And The important things we have seen directly. Now the next thing will be Django forms. How we create the form generally? Form, input type, text, all these things we write it, right?
Mhm.
But Django has a predefined class known as forms. There is a particular thing known as forms directly. From Django, I can import a forms. And we can write a class which contains some fields. And those fields will directly generate a HTML file. Means you don't have to write the form action and all. Directly, if you write a class, that class contains these forms, predefined thing, and based on that, we can generate a particular Django forms. We have model forms also. Once we complete the model, we'll see the model forms. But first now, we'll see Django forms, how it works. I'll show you an example, it will be clear. So I have to create a file known as forms.py. Are you seeing any forms.py here? No, right?
No.
We have init, admin, apps, models, tests, URLs, views. So I'm writing a new thing known as forms.py. So from Django, import forms I'm writing. I'll just save it as forms.py. In what is the drive? We have G drive, right? G drive Docker application is there. Inside the user, we have a file known as what?
Forms.py.
Forms.py.
Right. Next. In this, I'll write a class now. So what is a class? Consists of a register form. For the registration, whatever the fields are required, I'll just write it here as forms.form. This is a parameter. This F is capital, the form. Now I'll write username equals to forms.char field directly. Okay. So char field in the sense it will have a text box with the characters. We have integer field, we have float field, we have email field. Different fields are also there. Okay. So first username is there. Next password is there. Forms.char field. Email. We'll check all those things. Just I'm first creating the text box.
So C and F should be always capital, like character.
Yes, those are predefined, right? So in this, whatever the format they have written,
Okay.
I missed it here. The same thing we have to use it.
Why is okay? So we have to remember these things. The minor thing like a C capital F capital.
Yeah.
Yes. And here also I'll just give it as char field. So just save this thing. If you want, I'll just delete it and open it here inside the forms. This is the forms.py. So what I have a registration form which contains the forms.form, username, password, email, phone, right? Now, what is the next thing I have to do? In the views.py, I have several files. I'll remove this thing. The home.html is there, right? First thing I need to import it. I don't want this date and this thing. So what I'm trying to do is from in this particular folder itself, it's there means dot forms. From that forms tag, I just want to have a form. What is that form? You can say, what's the name? Register form. Copy that and paste. Next, in that home, I want to have a form. So form equals to register form. In that we have a request dot post. So that's a request dot post, and or none we can take. Means if it is not post, we can take nothing. So what is that form? And while returning the index.html, I just have to pass that form here. So form colon, directly write it here as form. So in 2 lines, I have just redirected to the form. So what I'm trying to do, I have written a class.
Rohit, always render, we need to use only dictionary.
Yes, dictionary only.
So it will not allow others.
In the dictionary, you can have the set and list also, right? We have seen those things also.
Yeah, I'm just saying we should have only a dictionary.
Because key value, key and value, and the key can be retrieved by the HTML, right? So that's the reason only the key value pair dictionary is there. That's the reason we use dictionary. Now, you have written a class, the fields are written, you are getting all those fields into a form, you're sending that form and you're sending it to the HTML, index.html. We need to open a templates folder. In that, go to that particular index.html, and here instead of the profile page and all, or the URL, I need to write a particular part. I'm just writing the break tags first. And in this, I'll first write a form method equals to, I kept it as post, right? Next, what I'm trying to do in this, I can have form dot as underscore p. 3 things are available. What are those 3 things? as underscore p to represent in paragraph tag. We have the p tag, right? In the p tag, if you want to represent as underscore t, as underscore table to represent in tr tag. Okay, we use tr td tag. We use this particular table as underscore table, and we have as underscore ul to represent in unordered list. We use these things. These are the predefined ways to give a particular form tag. So I've given as underscore p. We'll take 3 things simultaneously. Table and the particular as paragraph I've done. Next, as the table we can write as this particular part. So input type equals to submit, and the value is just setting on as register. So now let's run this part, but before that, in the URLs, I just have to modify something. I need to keep only the views.home, right? Not this particular part. Save this thing. I'm getting this circular import. Whenever circular import error comes, it means there is a problem here. Forms.py is getting it to the views.py. The dot forms I'm trying to import directly, and index.html. It's not a problem with the index.html. Views.home. Here views.home is there. Correct, only right. The doctor application doctor application urls.py. I have user.urls itself. It's going down. Any syntax error is there?
No.
Return render request is there. In that index.html we have written. The form we have written. That's it. That's a home part, you can say. In the form tag I have written any wrong thing. Forms is there. In that forms.char field. CHARFIELD. Everything is correct? Yeah, it's correct. I'll do one thing. I'll just say register slash. Let's check this thing whether it's working or not now. That's not the problem actually. Somewhere in these files I just missed something. That's a views.py form. Form is written. Home request register form. Index.html. It will execute URLs views.home. User views. Import register form. That's the register form itself. From the Django import forms. Yeah, everything is correct, only something is missing. Register form I've taken.
From dot forms or just from dot import register form?
Dot forms only. Import register from the dot forms. From the forms, I want to get this part, register form. Next. Nothing wrong in there.
Why we are putting dot forms from after form?
In this folder only, right? In the particular user folder itself, we have the forms.
Oh, okay.
In the views also, I mentioned URLs also. I mentioned the same thing, right? Dot import views. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
If you write dot views here, you don't have to write views directly. You can write home.
Okay, so we are writing dot because it's in the same folder.
Yes. Everything is correct itself, right? URL patterns, views.home itself. There is nothing else. Let's do one thing. I'll just have it here. The user.urls and just deleting it here. In the urls.py, doctor urls.py only, and just keeping register slash views.py from user import views. That's the thing already written, right? Include is not required, only the path module is required. That's also not the issue. Small mistake, slightly. Check any spelling is wrong, every spelling is correct. We didn't type out so much of the things. Close it and open it again. First, the new thing frums.py.
From yeah, we save the froms.
Shit.
Only.
Spelling mistakes is most things actually. Frums.py, that's the reason it's forms.py, right?
Yeah.
Next, in the views, what I have to write here, dot forms. Yeah, now let's check it.
It should work now.
That's the reason spelling mistakes. Yeah, it's working.
Huh.
And which page you have to open? Register, right? We got the registration part. Okay. And if you want, you can have that index.html center tag also. Like the form, I just want to have it in the center.
Yeah, doctor spelling is wrong.
Yeah.
That's a message only, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
Next, what I want to do now, if you have it here, it's there inside the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here the password is also visible.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
When I
password
click
is
on register, we didn't have any form action. Okay. And what it's saying? Reason given for failure is CSRF token missing or incorrect. CSRF verification failed. Request aborted. Django CSRF mechanism. So what CSRF in the template there is a flower bracket percentile CSRF token template tag inside each post form that targets an internal URL. Okay, this must be there. Why? Because people try to attack our particular data, mostly hack the things, right? So the data, whatever we are sending, should be in a secured way. So in order to have that security, we use a CSRF token. And if I'm not giving it, Django is giving an error. It's like CSRF verification failed. It requires a CSRF template in that particular part. The view function passes a request to the templates and renders the method. So in the template, there is a CSRF token template tag. It should be there for each and every post form. Understood?
got it.
So why this CSRF token is there? It will encrypt the data what you are trying to write in the text box and send it. And it will decrypt again at the time of taking the values in the function. Okay? So encryption and decryption can be done using this CSRF token. Now if I kept this thing, go back. So it's not going anywhere because we didn't write anything, right? Form action, we didn't write anything. Previously I got the error because I didn't have the CSRF token. Let's do one thing. We'll have different types forms. So in the form, what I've given, I've just given the char field, right? So I'll just say max underscore length equals to 6. Yeah. So I'm trying to type, it's not getting typed. Why? Because I said the max length is what? 6. So it will take 6 characters only. So you can have max length for everything. Okay? And in this I can have a tag known as label tag. So what is that label tag? Here username is getting displayed, right? Because I have written the username field. Now I'll write the label as
Login.
doctor name. It will take time, it's getting reloaded because the forms or anything you write, it will get reloaded, right?
Doctor
So you
name.
got doctor name here,
Mm-hmm.
and if you want, you cannot write more than 6 characters. So that's the first part. Label can be written for every field. That label represents this particular thing. Label part. If I place it here as placeholder, usually in HTML we have this placeholder, right?
yes.
It's getting reloaded, it's giving error, right? Means what? The placeholder is not a valid thing. You can have label itself. You cannot have the placeholder. Next, password. So mostly the password should be not visible. So we have a widget in this forms. What is it? Forms dot password input. Save this thing. Check it's getting loaded or not, or else I'll just have to run it again. Now the password is visible.
No.
It's not visible, right?
Visible.
Let's do one thing. I'll just write another field. Read password equals to forms dot password input. I've just taken the password input as a thing. Change of reloaded. I didn't save it. Yeah, I saved it. So the thing is, forms.password, if I'm just giving, it's not taking anything, right? It's not even displaying here. So you need to create a char field. That character field is the password input you have to say.
Can we have an integer also?
Yes, I'll show you that also. Step by step I'm going.
Oh.
So next, after this, I have an email field, right? Char field is there. Now I have a email field. So I'm just written this thing. I have just written. I'm just writing register. Please include an @ in the email address. @ is missing. I didn't write any validation, right? I just wrote this email field. So it checks like that. Okay? Previously when I registered, there was no error. Now when I'm clicking register, it's giving error because of this particular email field. Email field will check whether the @ is there or not. Understood? Next, we can have integer field, float field. It's got loaded. You can see here, if I want to type the characters, it's not getting typed, only the numbers. Or you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, it's up to us, whatever you want to have, you can have it. Okay, that's a number, integer field we can say. @ is required and click on register. Okay, the password is gone means it got redirected. Next part. I want to have a checkbox. So after the email, I just say I have some hobbies. So forms dot char field, we have a particular widget. So what is that widget? You can see forms dot checkbox input. Checkbox input is a predefined thing. It got reloaded. So you got a checkbox, right? Hobbies. But I don't want the hobbies here. I want the cricket, chess, all those things. So I'll write a label. So what is that label? Cricket. So I got the cricket, right? If it is there, click on it. That's it. Okay. That's a checkbox input, you can say. Next, we have an address. Usually address will be huge, so we need to have a text area. So how to write this? Forms dot char field, in that widget equal to forms dot text area. reloaded. Next this thing. So you got the text area, right?
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things we can use. Like date field is there. If I want to have a date field, date of birth I'm taking. Forms dot date field. And the format should be year, month, date. It got reloaded. See, if I give 25th August 1990, I've given some values, something.
Now we can open calendar also, right? We have option.
Yes. And when I say register, enter a valid date. If I write here 1990 hyphen 8 hyphen 25. It got redirected. Password is gone, right? So it's a valid date. Okay. We can check it how to have a calendar also. What's the format you want to have? All those things we can have it. Okay. Just go through the Django forms tags or the fields. Tab fields are there. Different form fields, whatever the different form fields are there, you can check it. So tomorrow we'll see the next concept like modules. From the modules, how the forms can be generated. What is model or what model is that? How the table is getting created. Okay. Have you all installed this DB browser SQLite?
No.
At the start, you said that we can use SQLite or the MySQL, right? So just
Yeah,
for a precaution, install this DB browser SQLite. Just type in the Google DB browser SQLite, you can download it. DB browser for SQLite. Okay? And the downloads, it will work out. And you should get in the desktop in this format, DB browser for SQLite.
Okay.
The SQLite files which are getting created, we can open this using this particular DB browser SQLite. So you need to do the URLs and the forms in this particular class today and the extents part. Okay? Try out different combinations. What combination is working fine, you'll understand clearly. So your task will be, I've done for most of the things, right? Radio button, I didn't do it. Checkbox, yeah, select box, I didn't do it. Radio button, select box, you try it out. Okay?
What you said, Rohit? What select box and?
Radio button. Like gender will be there, right? Male or female, anything you can select.
Yeah.
That's the things. Try out those things. Okay? So that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll meet again.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going slow because you want to practice and all, and we can do those things, right? And you have seen that
Yeah.
if you write directly, we'll get some errors also. There's a spelling mistake things. But if I write first and show you, you can't understand directly. If I type, that's a better thing. That's the reason I'm just typing and showing. It's fine?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, okay then. So that's it for today.